person is working a lot and they require rest to do the work that they do, you gotta give them that rest. You have to give them the time to heal and recuperate. And if you with somebody and they chose to work, they chose a profession, they chose a purpose that requires them to have their body physically exhausted and their muscles hurting and their body aching, and based on what their purpose is or the thing that they chose to do, your purpose can change over time. So some people say that your work is not your purpose, and I disagree with that, because at some point your purpose could be to work in this place and to do this thing, and that's totally normal. And I think that that's totally what your purpose would be. It would be that thing at that given time. And then when your priorities change or when your situations change, your purpose may change. I'll give you an example. At one point, my priority was to just take care of myself and to look out for me and to assess damage that might come for me, and to assess issues, and to assess risk that might come to me, right? And then I got married, and then I said I can't just think for myself, so now I got to assess risk and assess damage and assess issues for us, and I got to set space aside and create boundaries for us, and create space and create zones of trust for us. So my priorities changed. So that would mean the things that I was into and the things that I was doing had to change. So my purpose changed in that way, because now my purpose isn't living for me and creating something special for myself. My purpose became living for us and creating something to leave for my legacy. I got time to do any of this shit, man. I got so many ideas and things that I want to put together that I don't have time for. I got an idea for clothing for contractors and tradespeople, craftsmen. I got an idea for financial services and financial tools and financial, instruments that can be sold to and created for and tailored for specifically for contractors and designers and craftspeople. I got an idea for a class for certification courses. I got an idea for DIY shops, DIY workshops, and teaching people how to do some of the things that we do to create a finish like we can create. I got all of these ideas and things on how I put things together. The problem that I run into is time. I don't ever have enough time. And when I have the time, I have never had the time and the budget in the same space, at the same moment. So I'm trying to figure out, and I'm figuring out as I go, and I'm learning like I've always been doing. I learn as I go because I didn't have a guide. I don't have nobody teaching me and pulling me along and showing me this is what you do and this is what you do after that. So I've been in a constant state of creation and destruction and recreation. Things work better. See, I've been out here for a long time, man. I've been doing my thing and making my way out in this world and creating things for myself and creating opportunities for myself since I was, 8, 9, 10 years old. We had a water ice stand at 9, 10 years old, 11 years old. Had we was young, we used to steal bike parts, and fix the bikes and sell them or do some little stupid shit. You know, we used to steal from the store and sell stuff in the street, or you know, like I was on my way to being like a little street person, and my mom ended up kicking me out, so I had to fix some things. In a way, getting kicked out was like a relief. Some of the shit that I was going through, but not really, because it was some of the things I realized now as I got older. I caused, you know. It ain't always the parents that's just mean. Sometimes you gotta realize, man, it's kids out here who understand what the fuck they doing, and they doing things intentionally to hurt people. And if we look at kids like humans, then we need to start examining some of the kids that do adult behaviors and really peering into what that is, because that's not always on the parents. As I be like having brothers and sisters, having younger siblings, much younger siblings, I got the chance to grow up and observe and grow up and raise in some way, in some respects. I learned a lot about people, and I also learned about how we look at people, how we handle adults, and how we handle children. And we'll say that children are children, and that because they're children, they shouldn't be speaking in certain situations, or they shouldn't be given certain rights, and they shouldn't have, you know, their rights catered to, which is bullshit. I think that all people should be given rights, regardless of their age or their orientation or any of that. But at the same time, we don't examine children the way that we examine humans, meaning behaviors. Like, we don't examine, I don't know how much of it is accepted that there are sociopaths who are children. And people who are psychopaths are children. And I don't know that they made that way, or if that's something that they're born with and it's innate, and they come out and they start exhibiting those behaviors as children. And we can have situations where you got a parent who's accused of doing something, or an adult who's accused of doing something that's initiated and actually created by a child. And we see these movies all the time about these things, and we hear these stories all the time about these children who commit these crimes and do these heinous things. And we never stop and examine. We always still point it back to the parents. And I'm getting to the point now where I'm not always looking at the parents. I'm not always looking at the parents, because there's too many situations where, and that's not this, I said always,